Storms are flaring up right now where flooding is still a threat, and what the month of May will bring to our area. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, welcome back to Meteo Mundo. Rusty here with you on this Monday. Hope things have been going well for you. Coming up again, more storms flaring up through portions of our area, tracking some heavy flooding rains as we speak. And we're going to look ahead to what the rest of May is going to bring, potentially rainfall wise in your area. As always, I appreciate you. We'll get started right now, and thank you so much for liking this video. You are looking at the broad perspective. We got our enhanced satellite imagery. We've got our live lightning data. We're going to track some of these storms coming up. The first thing I want to talk about is how we can really delineate what's happening right now in the Caribbean and the Bahamas by looking at this water vapor imagery. When you see the red, you are looking at very dry air, and that continues to encompass places like the Bahamas and the Northwest Caribbean, including the Cayman Islands and the coastal sides of the Yucatan and Central America. As you get farther east, you're generally getting into more moisture-laden air, and this is where we continue to see the flare-up of showers and storms. So again, we're kind of slicing our area here from southwest to northeast, and on the western side, we're dry, and on the eastern side, we continue to have the opportunity for some good storms. So let's take a look at what's happening right now on this Monday afternoon. Again, I've got our lightning strike count going on right now. We've had some pretty hefty storms try and work their way through portions of the Turks and Caicos. Look at all of that lightning, a big old lightning cell right now moving through the Matthewtown area, dropping south of the Turks and Caicos, between the Turks and Caicos and the northern coastline of Hispaniola, where we've seen additional scattered showers and storms develop. Again, we're going to see pockets of heavy rain in this area. Even Cockburntown has had some showers as well. But now you can see these storms beginning to flare up again on this Monday afternoon. So again, they're, scattered in nature, but we're getting some decent lightning strikes. Let me go ahead and pause this real quickly as well, and we'll just kind of look at the here and now. So again, late on this Monday afternoon, nice little cell developing just north of Santo Domingo. Several lightning strikes there. We've had some storms just north of La Romana, just to the west of Punta Cana. And again, all of this activity is kind of trying to drift off to the south and to the east. Additional showers and storms developing anywhere from Puerto Plata to Santiago de los Caballeros. And again, all of this continues to move off towards the east and through the rest of the afternoon. The opportunity for more scattered showers and storms to develop. It could drop a quick 25 millimeters of rain here and there. And again, this is an area that's had a lot of rain lately, so we still have to contend with the opportunity for some additional, at least minor flooding through portions of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. For my friends in Jamaica, we've had a few isolated storms develop here on this late Monday afternoon as well. Couple of lightning strikes, you see those moving through a little bit towards Ocho Rios, so kind of the northern coastline of Jamaica through portions of interior sections and then drifting off towards Port Antonio. Certainly the shower and storm chance will be more isolated today. And in general, I do think the rain chance is going down for Jamaica, but we could still see a few spotty showers and storms the next couple of days, and I'll have more on that coming up. But a lot of this moisture now is beginning to try and track off a little bit farther off towards the east. So guess where it is still extremely wet. You're looking at what's going on right now in Puerto Rico. First of all, notice that we don't have a lot of lightning strikes in Puerto Rico at this point in time. This is mainly just some rain, but here's the deal. It's not just some rain, it's some extremely heavy rain. Look how thick this cloud coverage is on the visible satellite imagery for us here. When I pop on the radar out of San Juan and I take off the satellite data, look at what we're talking about. We're talking about another swath of extremely heavy rainfall throughout the island. As a matter of fact, I can put on the flash flood watches, and I've been seeing several of these, and these aren't just watches, these are warnings. So we now have one on the southwest side of Puerto Rico, including the Yauco area here. This will go through the early evening hours of this Monday, but there have been many flash flood warnings across the island during the day, during the afternoon hours. This happens to be the one that is in effect right now. But again, the opportunity for widespread heavy rain with some flash flooding is possible across the island. And really, it's the entire island. The radar isn't even able to cut all the way into the western side of the island where I've seen some hefty rain. I've been looking at the different reflectivity layers here. The bottom line is it's wet. It's going to stay wet with additional flash flooding issues a potential. San Juan is wet, other areas. I mean, this is just some hefty rain. And again, you see no lightning strikes out of this. This is just solid tropical moisture along that surface trough that continues to inundate this area, and portions of the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands are along with the ride as well. Let's switch over back to our satellite data here. I'm going to swing that back on. I'm going to zoom out for just 1 second, make sure that the lightning data comes back on as well. And as I'm doing that, if you haven't liked the video yet, thank you so much for liking the video. If you're not a subscriber yet to Meteo Mundo and you want these latest forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, I appreciate it. I also appreciate all of you letting me know in the comments section what things have been like in your area, because we've obviously had some very nasty weather lately. Now, we're trying to keep it a little bit drier through portions of the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands for today, but certainly the opportunity for some passing downpours will continue in this area. And I'm going to throw on the visible satellite imagery, and you can see that we've had at least some low-level moisture come in here. Now, what's interesting is some of this cloud coverage is actually streaming in from east to west, but then here across Puerto Rico, we have that surface trough, which is still driving the showers from west to east. So we've got our easterly trade winds butting up against kind of the more localized winds right now, where Puerto Rico, and I've mentioned this all the time, you have that confluence of wind, you get lift in the atmosphere, and all of this rich moisture sits over this area. That's been a problem, and it will continue to be a problem because rain chances are going to remain high in this area here for a while. Another area that's going to see a good chance for rain, it may not be the heaviest rain, but it is going to be the Leeward Islands, Anguilla, St. Martin, and Barbuda, and Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts, Nevis, Antigua, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, all with pretty good rain chances over the next several days. And if you stick around, I've got the island by island rain outlook coming up. We'll take a look at it. As I've mentioned many, many times, you get from Dominica to the south, and I believe someone had mentioned how they really need the rain there in that area. It's just much more spotty right now, unfortunately, with the moisture in play from Dominica towards Martinique and St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Tobago, Trinidad. As I've mentioned, the moisture comes up from the mainland. We'll have a little bit better chance for a few showers there. Remember also, we're getting the Saharan dust layer to move into these areas, especially over the Windward Islands, which might continue to suppress rain development in that area for a while. It has been wet through portions of the ABC Islands. I saw some video yesterday of Curacao. They got hammered, and there is another big plume of moisture just to the south as I record this video that's about ready to move through the ABC Islands. So additional heavy rain and potential flash flooding is possible in localized areas. Always check in with your local government. Same thing for my friends in Puerto Rico. Make sure you tune into the National Weather Service in San Juan for any additional updates on any other potential flooding issues. Just a few showers out in the southwest side of the Caribbean. And as I mentioned for many, many days, and a lot of you who live in these areas from the Cayman Islands back over towards Belize City and Roatan and St. Pedro Sula, been looking for some rain. It's not going to be there, unfortunately. It's going to be high and dry. I got a comment as well from someone in the Cayman Islands who said that there was a pretty decent earthquake off of the coast of the Cayman Islands. And again, I have the ability to actually throw that on there and look at that, and I'm going to pop that on, I think, real quickly here if I can. So let me pause that, and let's see here if I can get that to pop up for us. May not. Let's see. I don't see that particular part coming up here. Unfortunately. Let's see. A U.S. earthquake detection. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure it was still working. And you can see that we've had some earthquakes in Puerto Rico, but it has to have been within the last 24 hours. So that's why this one here in the Cayman Islands, I believe it's a little bit older than 24 hours, didn't pop up. Thought maybe I had lost that layer for a second, but it's there. It's something I keep an eye on, and I'll mention from time to time if I need to. Okay, let's talk about some of the things that I wanted to get into in the video as far as looking longer term in May. You are looking at your 35-day rainfall total. So this takes us all the way until June the 9th, but there's a couple of things I want you to notice. These are numbers in millimeters, okay? When you get towards the oranges and the reds, and then especially the browns, and then those white and purples, those are higher rainfall totals, all right? So we are looking at a maximum of some Central Caribbean rainfall totals, maybe 250 millimeters or higher. And that could include portions of Jamaica and portions of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. But high rainfall totals for places like Puerto Rico and Cuba and the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands and portions of the Leeward Islands as well. A little bit drier, the southern side of the Leeward Islands, Windward Islands, and especially through portions of the Central American coastline and the Bahamas. And look how dry it's going to be in the south and the western Gulf of Mexico. You're talking about a 35-day rainfall total that could be less than 10 millimeters of rain, exceptionally dry. So now we look at what's the anomaly, meaning that how much wetter or drier is it going to be in your area than what we would typically see over the next 35 days. It kind of equates to the same map, but you get a little bit different perspective here where we're looking at this anomalous area being many, many inches of rain. By the way, this is in inches of rain higher than what we'd typically expect to see. So the bottom line is, if you live in the blue and green areas, you should expect a wet May into early June. If you live in the areas that are more in the red or the brown, you should expect a drier than normal May. But again, some of this is much more tropical in nature. And now that we're pushing deeper into May, we'll just have to continue to closely monitor if anything wants to try and flare up. At this point in time, all is quiet, and that is good. Let's get into now your forecast, okay? And again, thanks so much for liking the video as we do so. So how are the next 5 days going to play out? Well, we're going to continue to see the easterlies drive across the area here, and this model is going to be flipping on a little bit here and there. Sorry about that, but you get the idea that the easterlies are going to be staying with us here, despite the fact that we still have some westerlies coming in from the mid-levels to provide us with this flare-up of showers and storms across these same areas. Generally speaking, the areas that have got hit with the extremely wet weather will continue to see the extremely wet weather. Now, another thing that comes into play with this is the Saharan dust layer. And again, it's beginning to eke into areas like Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago and St. Lucia and the Grenadines. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines, excuse me. You can see a really thick plume of smoke. It does fade a bit as it gets west, but I do expect there to be some haze in the sky through most of the Caribbean and even the Bahamas and Florida mid to late in the week. We're going to get some hazy conditions out of this next injection, if you will, of Saharan dust. So certainly something to keep an eye out for. And again, any respiratory sufferers, please keep that in mind. I can show you that, again, on the water vapor imagery. It's very clear to see. You can see this ramp up of the Saharan dust layer moving through the Atlantic basin, really suppressing thunderstorm activity. We have this convective belt to the south, but it doesn't really move much this time of the year. And then we have that westerly flow driving some of the showers and storms away. But right here, we're starting to see that first nudge of the Saharan dust beginning to kind of dry things out for a couple of areas. So rain over the next several days. How does this play out? Going to switch models here. Want to look at this real fast. This is the one that I think is going to really tell the story the best. So I want to make sure I do that. Going to loop it up here real quickly as well. And again, if you're not a subscriber yet, as I try and get these models going, I always mention, hey, click that subscribe button if you want these forecasts across the Caribbean and the Bahamas. And by the way, thank you so much for a lot of your comments. I really appreciate them. Thank you for the kind words. I'm glad several of you are getting things out of these videos. That's what we aim to do. And again, it gets more and more important as we get closer to hurricane season. We'll start off with my friends in Jamaica. Again, we've had some decent rain across the island lately. It's going to be very more scattered in nature the next couple of days and then really becoming isolated to non-existent by the end of the week. But you can see for the remainder of this afternoon, an isolated shower or storm is possible. We'll have that same chance for your Tuesday as well, but don't expect anything to be too concentrated. But again, keep an eye out for the lightning. We've had a few strikes today. And then as we get into our Wednesday, we start to see kind of the last gasp of some rain. It will begin to dry out in the island beginning Wednesday into Thursday. Look, it's going to be hot and humid. You know, temperatures are going to reach the lower 90s, especially if you don't get the showers by the later half of the afternoon. For my friends in the Turks and the Caicos, we'll finally begin to dry out here beginning on Wednesday as well, but still a good chance for showers and a few storms just like we had roll through the Turks and Caicos today, right on through Wednesday afternoon. The rain is even more concentrated in Haiti in the Dominican Republic. And I know I've mentioned this area a lot lately, but you get the idea why, with showers and storms expected to flare up the next several afternoons, at least still carrying the opportunity for an isolated flash flooding risk. And this goes for the entire island, especially the inland locations. But again, just kind of playing it out for the rest of this afternoon into this early evening. Rain will be around, will dry out again overnight, but flare up showers and storms in a widespread variety for your Tuesday afternoon. Azua, Santo Domingo, Punta Cana, on over towards Puerto Plata and Samana. Everyone has a good chance for showers. Again, I would favor inland locations slightly compared to some coastal zones, but look, we've had heavy rain kind of abound, and even as we get into Wednesday, still at least some spotty showers and storms. We do not need any more rain right now in Puerto Rico and most of the Virgin Islands. We are going to get more rain in Puerto Rico and portions of the Virgin Islands. We just can't quite turn off the faucet yet, guys. Again, this atmospheric river, which is situated over the islands, continues. So widespread shower storms. I hope, just like today, we don't get a lot more lightning, because a lot of you talked about the power problems in portions of Puerto Rico and other areas like St. Croix. I hope that's not the case. But again, additional flooding issues, we have it outside right now. This will continue for the next several days. Scattered rain and some decent rainfall is expected for Anguilla, in St. Bartholomew, and St. Martin, and Ceiba, St. Kitts and Nevis, Barbuda, Antigua, Montserrat. I always think kind of has been Guadeloupe has been kind of right on that delineation line for the deeper moisture. They've had a better chance for rain than areas to the south, but just not as much as areas to the north. You get towards Dominica, and again, you start to cut off the rain chances, and they get cut off relatively quickly. Passing showers at best for these other islands: Martinique and St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Tobago. Even though Trinidad is getting some rain developing across the island on this late Monday afternoon, early evening, with that Saharan dust layer taking over more and more, the rain chance actually becomes more isolated. And again, even for the ABC Islands, I think we're going to undercut the rain chance a little bit as the dust layer begins to move in, but we're still tapping into relatively rich moisture off towards the south. If I zoom out a little bit here, you can see some of that beginning to try and sneak back in. So there's at least going to be the opportunity for some localized showers in these areas. Now look, there will be a little bit of rain developing in the Southwest Caribbean. There's no wind associated with this as of yet. It's always an area that I'll be monitoring, but at this point in time, doesn't look to be much for Honduras and Nicaragua. A few coastal showers, both on the Atlantic side, or the Caribbean side, excuse me, and the Pacific side, will be there. But other than that, I don't expect a lot of rain. I don't expect basically any rain for places like Roatan and Belize City and San Pedro, and especially inland sides like San Ignacio, where inland portions of these areas will be at or above 100 degrees each and every afternoon. Cancun and Cozumel will enjoy a nice quiet time. Same thing for the Cayman Islands. I don't expect a lot of showers for you. My friends in the Bahamas, especially the Northwest Bahamas, again, you guys know I keep a really close eye on you guys. I haven't mentioned you too much in the last couple of weeks because you guys have really enjoyed some nice quiet weather. We could still see our easterly swells kicking in. Small craft should be on alert, but relatively speaking, first of all, we are dry. We're still in our short-term drought watch for these areas, and that doesn't look to change over the next 3 to 5 days. I don't see a lot of rain moving back in. Again, you have to get to the southeast Bahamas, but really even down to the Turks and the Caicos to see this better moisture area and the opportunity for more rain. So here's how it plays out. And I've got more areas that I want to show you. Got a couple of different maps. So we'll start with these folks first. Our friends in Jamaica, it's a 40% chance for showers today, down to a 30% chance on Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't expect any rain for the Northwest Bahamas. The Turks and the Caicos stay wet and somewhat stormy, isolated higher rainfall totals there. The Dominican Republic, widespread showers and storms. Again, trying to tail it off a little bit by Wednesday. Hopefully that's the end of the more widespread rain, but still it's a 50% chance for your Wednesday. Barely a breath of a chance for showers across the Cayman Islands. I think we're dry in places like Belize City, Cancun, and Cozumel. Puerto Rico, my friends there, I will continue to watch the opportunity for isolated flooding the next several days. 70% chance today, 70% tomorrow. And again, some of this redevelops during the nighttime hours. So showers and a few storms tonight and overnight still possible. Same thing for Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. U.S. and British Virgin Islands, rain chances are pretty high. Antigua, Barbuda, All of the northern Leeward Islands, same thing, 50-60% chance right on through Wednesday. Starting to see, again, that cutoff a little bit more towards St. Lucia. I might be, again, being a little bit optimistic to have a 20% chance for showers in for places like Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, but there'll at least be a few passing showers. And again, in the ABC Islands, with that moisture coming from your south, we've got to at least talk about the opportunity to see a few showers in the forecast over the next few afternoons. So rainfall totals over the next 5 days. Again, continue to be very impressive in some of the same spots that I've been mentioning here the last several videos. And you can see again how it plays out through the Dominican Republic. These are just widespread, potentially high totals. Again, we don't ever want to look at one number on these models, but it gives us a very good idea that we're looking at widespread 2+ inches of rain with some maximums that could be over 4. And that's solid rain that continues to fall in an area that has been exceptionally wet. So something to continue to monitor for my friends in the Dominican Republic. Again, little bullseye here through portions of the Turks and Caicos. I think, again, I would average this out, but an additional 1 to 2 inches through the island chain is absolutely possible. That would include the eastern sides of Cuba. We're going to get some more decent rainfall here over the next couple of days in Jamaica. Might be a little bit more confined to a few spots, but again, just kind of looking around here, even towards the western coastline, which might be a little bit drier, we'll call it a 1/2 inch of rain. I'm going to call it 1 inch of rain in Kingston, and then you get to interior sections, some of the higher elevations, potentially up to 1.5 inches, maybe even a little bit more. I think the farmers would appreciate that. My friends in Jamaica, let me know how it's going to play out for you guys and what you guys have been seeing. Once again, high rainfall totals are expected throughout Puerto Rico and the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands. I'm just going to pop on a couple of numbers here. But again, when we average this out, I think we're looking at 2 to 3 inches of rain in most spots. Maybe slightly drier, Aguadilla, on over towards Mayaguez, but Ponce, Guayama, Arecibo, San Juan, Fajardo, Esperanza, St. Croix, Christian said, Charlotte Amalie there, St. Thomas, St. John, 2-3 inches of rain, no brainer, absolutely possible over the next 5 days. Again, solid totals here as well. It wouldn't shock me with some of these downpours. We pick up 1 to 2 more inches of rain. Again, maybe around 50 millimeters in a couple of spots. 50 millimeters is just under 2 inches of rain. So 25 to 50 millimeters, I think, is absolutely possible. And as I've mentioned, there's your kind of delineation line. You get south of Guadalupe, and it just becomes a lot more spotty. Doesn't mean we won't catch some showers in Dominica and Martinique and areas off towards the south, as I've already mentioned, but it becomes a lot more isolated. And that's about it. A quick downpour here or there for Barbados, where again, hazy conditions will be coming up. Also by the end of the week, we could see some swells returning to some of these islands. I'll be monitoring that. This model is not aggressive with the rain through the ABC Islands. I don't believe that. I think we're going to have some passing showers and downpours. So I don't have to agree with everything that these models tell me, and I don't agree with this. I think we will see some rain in the ABC Islands coming off of the mainland there. It's going to be wet for portions of Panama and Costa Rica. You get north of there, you just really start to dry out. And as I've mentioned for Belize, if we can catch a shower along the coast, we're lucky. We're dry in places like San Ignacio and Orange Walk. Roatan is going to be dry. And again, western sides of Honduras and Nicaragua, Tegucigalpa, Managua, opportunity for a couple of showers towards El Salvador as well. There you go, guys. My friends in the Northwest Bahamas, enjoy. It's been beautiful weather, but I think you guys could use a little bit of rain. And unfortunately, that's not coming, at least in the short term. Friends, you know what is coming in the short term? Meteo Mundo. We're everywhere. We love you. Find us on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on X, Facebook. mymeteomundo@gmail.com. You got a picture or a video you want to send me? Had a new friend named Jaden. Lives in Aruba, 17, sent me some video out of Curacao yesterday. I appreciate you, Jaden. I appreciate all of you guys. Again, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. Have a great rest of your day. I'll keep you updated, and I'll see you soon right here at Meteo Mundo.